Hello, welcome to the Managing Drought in the Southern Plains webinar series. This is brought to you by the Southern Climate Impacts Planning Program, or SCIP, along with our partners at NOAA Regional Climate Services, National Drought Mitigation Center, and NIDIS. We also have full briefings or full webinars where we discuss issues in more detail. This is a short briefing to get us up to date. We have been doing these weekly. We've taken a little bit of a hiatus during the winter, but now that it's warming up, we're going to get these back on track with a regular update. So here's what's been changing recently. We've been continuing to chip away at drought in Oklahoma and some in Arkansas, although it's getting worse in Texas and even worse in New Mexico, where 82% of the state is now in extreme or exceptional drought. We're expecting the cool, wet weather to hang on for a little longer, at least the next couple of weeks, although some indications look like summer may be lurking around the corner. This is a current drought monitor. It looks quite a bit better than it has over the last month as far as the northern plains, central plains. A lot of improvement in Oklahoma and up in Nebraska. A little bit of improvement in Kansas as well, although Texas has actually been getting a little bit worse, and New Mexico has really been suffering the brunt of this winter's and spring drought. Here's in the southern plains, we can see a lot of that improvement. Eastern Oklahoma is now generally drought-free, or at least in the abnormally dry, some lingering impacts, but it's looking a lot better in eastern Oklahoma, although it's still stubbornly hanging on in western Oklahoma, and particularly the Panhandle, where some D4 remains. Up into the plains, a lot of improvement in the worst categories in Nebraska, although much of the state is still in that extreme drought, as soils have been warming up and patterns improving, looking for additional improvement up into the Nebraska at least. And the Dakotas are looking much better, as well as much of the Midwest. Over the past month here in Oklahoma, we've seen that erosion of drought conditions in the east, now a large area. Lakes are responded pretty full. In the west, we still have some lake issues. But in general, you can see that the percent in drought has gone from about 53% down to 30% in the extreme drought categories. So quite a bit of improvement, and about 1/3 of the state is now out of drought. Over the past month in Texas, though, it has actually been creeping up slightly as we see some of the numbers a little bit higher. The bottom line indicates the current levels compared to a month ago, and they're all a little bit higher. Much of the worsening has been in West Texas, especially the Panhandle, and then in South Texas. New Mexico has had the worst of it, where the percent in severe or extreme drought has gone from just under 50% to about 82%, and almost the entire state is now in severe drought. And they've missed out on most of the precipitation this last winter and spring. These are the maps looking at recent patterns. You can see that whole southwest part of the U.S. has missed out in the last 14 days, as well as really the last 60 days. And it's generally been dry, really going back into throughout the year and over the last 6 months as well in the southwest U.S. and into Texas. A lot of improvement up in the upper Midwest and kind of stretching down into Oklahoma and Arkansas. As we look ahead into the next few days, we see this cool, wet weather generally continuing. Maybe not a lot of rain in the region, but at least staying on the cool side. The blue lines there indicating below normal temperatures, the red lines above normal temperatures. As we look a little bit further out into the following week, we still see that kind of cool, generally wet pattern hanging in here. Warm air developing in the west, and a little bit of the green shading indicating above normal precipitation. But as we look into that should say May, June, July outlook. There it shows that the dry signal is starting to reemerge, and the above normal temperatures in the west will probably start to spread over this region. That relates to this drought outlook, which shows that the drought is expected to persist or worsen across most of the west, including Hawaii, and improvement in the east, getting rid of the last remnants of drought in the East Coast. So these are part of this Managing Drought in the Southern Plains webinar series, and we are working on scheduling some full briefings on the second Thursday of the month. We'll be sending that out. Please go to southernclimate.org and sign up for additional information. Thank you, and we look forward to talking to you soon. Bye.